raise a family, they have some of the same opportunities that me and my wife.
You agreed that we need to see them as a terrorist organization.
On a private cloud server, yes or no?
To love country, to love God, and to try to do the right thing.
Worked for the nation and the interests of the people. Welcome back to the Fresh Freedom Podcast. This is a podcast with 5 freedom-loving freshmen members of Congress. I'm Eric Burleson from Missouri, and today I'm joined by Representatives Josh Burkeen from Oklahoma, Eli Crane from Arizona, and Ana Paulina Luna from Florida. So with that, I want to say welcome to Ana to the podcast and ask the first question, the ones that we've kind of already answered, which is tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and why you ran for Congress.
So I actually never anticipated that I would ever run for office, but I think like a lot of people, you see a broken system and you think that you can fix it, which we're increasingly find out is a lot harder said than done. But as of right now, or inverted, a lot harder done than said. But the point is that I initially got involved in politics. I was working as a volunteer for 2 different counter-trafficking organizations, and then I realized that the political propaganda machine that existed in the media was really lying to the American people. And so here I was, Air Force veteran, 2nd generation, Hispanic American, clearly not xenophobic, sexist, or racist. And yet, the media was saying that candidate Trump was because he wanted border security. And here I was educating myself, requesting the State Department reports coming out every single year on trafficking. And then I saw a news article at the time, I think it might have been on CNN, that the outlet was showing that basically a train that had Hispanic women and children were stopped in Mexico City because they were seeking access to the United States. And the broadcasters on this outlet basically said that, here in the United States, we believe that everyone deserves access to this country. Candidate Trump is xenophobic for not wanting to allow migrants in here, but they failed to acknowledge the fact that there was MS-13 on board. And usually when you have MS-13 and women and children, it's trafficking. And so I saw that, made a video like any good millennial would do, and it kind of went viral. And I realized how uneducated people were, because the reaction that we were getting with people that were saying that I was racist or xenophobic or, whitewash were of people that didn't actually know the facts, and they're buying into the propaganda. So I kind of started talking on politics. I was on track to go to medical school, and I guess I kind of got pulled in this direction and eventually turned down a position in a medical school course so that I could join Turning Point USA, and I became the director of Hispanic engagement, and then went from there to Prager, and then ran for office. So it was a while.
Wow. That's awesome. I just spoke at our local Turning Point chapter.
Yeah, Turning Point
organization.
It's a good organization to get young people involved, and I think that we need more organizations like that. But the political commentating sector, once you're in office and you kind of see how the sausage is made, as they say in Washington, and then you realize how much of our legislation, our decisions up here drive the national discussion, and that's ultimately why I decided I wanted to run for office, is because I realized that, the outlets on both sides, if they didn't agree with the legislator, they're still going to talk on it so you could help change the national discussion. I think we did that when we got to Washington first couple of weeks that we were here. So as you saw, it's effective.
Something you didn't expect. I want to ask you a question. I think a lot of us new to this have had some experiences that are different and eye-opening. What's one for you? Or
I think it was initially when we first got here, just with the speaker's race. That was definitely an interesting experience. But, I think when you look at really how the bills come to the floor and then the amendment process and the markups, I actually did not expect to like the markup process, but I ended up really liking it for whatever reason, because that's when you kind of get to run through the bills and, you add in your kind of 2 cents on whether or not it's good. So, for example, we did one with HR 1, which was the energy bill that we just put forward before we went to recess. And that was something that, being a Florida member, I'm not in favor of offshore windmills or drilling. And so we noticed that there was no protections in place to protect our coastlines from windmills. And so we were actually able to put in an amendment that would basically have a lot of red tape for the administration and pretty much protect our coastlines until we can get another Republican president in.
And had we not fought for those rule changes, that would not
It would have never happened.
Possible.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of people, they're like, well, what did you guys really accomplish? Well, everything from single subject germaneness to those rule changes. it allows us to have more of a voice and represent our constituents, and that's what it's about.
Tell us a little bit about your district, Anna.
So I represent Florida's 13th congressional district. So I have a I know you guys are probably going to be biased to your districts.
I love your district.
Yes, I have one of the most beautiful beaches in all of the country. In fact, I think TripAdvisor voted us like top 10 beaches last year. So we actually have a lot of members and who have their family members that either live in my district or come visit. But we cover pretty much Tarpon Springs, Clearwater, St. Petersburg, all coastline. It's a very beautiful area, and we do not have any layovers, so it's a direct flight from Washington.
No, wait a minute. Pensacola and Panama City are not a part of the.
Me and Gates always arm wrestle on this, but no, he's the Panhandle. I'm really down the peninsula a little bit more.
And the beaches are white. I've never been in that area.
So we both have white beaches. He has more of a emerald colored water. Mine is more green. And I say mine as if I own it, but in my district.
Does he have? Because I know at Clearwater they've got all the dolphins. Like anywhere, if you get on a boat, the dolphins will go and play.
They have
with
dolphins
the boats.
up in the Panhandle, but
They've got
the
manatee,
dolphins and the
right?
beach in
Manatees.
Arizona,
You'd have
like
manatees.
that.
Oh,
So he doesn't have
Sounds
manatees.
like
no manatees for
Oklahoma
Gates.
too, yeah.
Does Oklahoma have beaches?
No, neither does Missouri. You have beaches, white beaches, and
Well, we've got some sandbar, or some gravel bars.
Well, you have the
Branson,
Ozarks,
Branson.
right?
Yeah, Branson.
The
He does.
Ozarks,
He's
Table
got
Rock.
Table Rock Lake, cliff jumping,
Yeah. Okay.
cliff
so,
diving.
Yes.
You ever done any of that?
Yes.
The jumping or the diving?
No, I didn't jump. When you jump from a cliff, you jump feet first.
I've done that.
And
At Branson on
High
Table
enough
Rock.
where you bruise your feet.
Done it? Oh, he's a Navy SEAL.
Yeah,
he's done
he's
more than
done
that. Have you died? Have you?
Oh, I jump feet first like this guy. I'm not crazy, man. I actually hate jumping out of planes, dude.
When Eli comes out of the bathwater, he just raises up, like in the commercials. He doesn't know how to do anything.
Well, that's how he was in the swimming pool. So
Yeah.
When he and I were swimming laps one day just at the same time, and he showed me.
He just rolled up
routine.
bubble.
side stroke. I showed you side stroke.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right, dude. So you don't expose a lot of yourself.
Right.
Even though clearly, like I was splashing like a maniac.
I was doing the.
I was out of
breaststroke.
breath
He
and-
was doing the side
I'm
stroke.
surprised you guys did come out looking. That water's so chlorinated. I smelled it. I was like, my eyes were burning, like when I was doing the gym tour.
And it's chilly too.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Okay, so we just got back from Easter break, and for me, they call it Easter break. It was not a break at all. Like in my district, my team, they booked me. We toured a nuclear power plant. I spoke to the Senate and the House in Jefferson City. I met with all kinds of leaders. I went down to the county commission. So it was, jam packed. And I moved our house this last week. So I'm a little sore.
You've had a home build, right?
Yes, we just finished building a home. So,
Well, congratulations on that.
Wow.
oh, it's nice to be finally in there. But so what was your Easter week like? Or 2 weeks?
I always find it interesting because I think people have this perception that in Congress you don't work, but it's like you're actually working like 14-hour days. And then when you do go home, I think it's important to balance family life and then work life though. And so whenever you're not up here, obviously you're working double then when you get back to compensate because they have us up here voting a lot during the week. If it were up to me, I would say we probably need more time in district just because I think it brings people more back to earth and grounds them. But in general, we had a really cool experience. I got to do a groundbreaking ceremony, which was one of my first ones for an area that's basically providing housing for veterans that are diagnosed with disability. So that was a pretty cool one. But yeah, we take a lot of meetings, and I happen to love the district office. So we have it over at a college campus, and so we're able to get in there and have a lot of traffic.
Oh, that's a great location.
Mm-hmm.
I also spoke at the state capitol to the Senate House and did 3 days of town halls. We've been hitting town halls hard. I think, either our 25th or 28th live town hall as of last week.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been doing them since the beginning.
Do you
And
get any rabble-rousers?
so I always start off with the group, and for those viewers that are watching, we all know that a lot of people in Congress have stopped doing those live town halls because of people that would utilize it to just become their one moment, shining moment, to be adversarial. And so a lot of people have just stopped it because of the divisiveness of politics. And so I just start off and saying, look, let's prove that we can in Oklahoma be raucous in our disagreement, but we can do it with civility. And I'm shocked and grateful to the people that come, and that we can be, we can disagree, but reason together, hoping that we can turn this country around. So then I got sick. I didn't know I had allergies till I married my wife, and she started pointing out that it was not just a every year cold that I thought I was having. So then I got the wind knocked out of
March
me.
you get a cold.
Yeah, so we did, yeah. So I wish that those several days that I was knocked down, I could get them back, because it was sure pretty in Oklahoma. What about you, Eli?
Yeah, we did a couple really good district trips. We went and Arizona has water problems. One of the things we did was we went and got up in a helicopter and toured the Salt River Project, which deals with about 12% of our water in Arizona, and it was really cool because they flew me over.
Did you jump out, dive in,
No,
come up with
He
your
sees
little?
water.
No, I asked if I could fly the helo, but they wouldn't allow me to, which I've actually done once, which was pretty awesome. I can't land them or take them off.
If they can fly.
They're not that hard to fly once you get in the air.
gosh.
It's the hovering and landing that I've got some helo drivers right now yelling at me. Oh, it's extremely hard, But no, so that was cool. And then we also went up to the White Mountains in my district that has Show Low and Pine Top and some other areas, and we talked with some of the county supervisors and some of the Forest Service folks about what they were doing for fire mitigation, because we have we have some pretty bad fires in Arizona just with the heat and the drought that we've had out west. So we were looking at that. Definitely did a couple speaking engagements and a bunch of other things, and got to hang out with my wife and kids a little bit too.
Yeah. I got to get horseback with my daughter. That was fun too.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Did you have land?
Yeah, I've got a small ranch and contiguous to my family's larger ranch, and so I hadn't got to get horseback with her in a while, and so.
So we finally bought 15 acres, and that's kind of that's small to a lot of farmers and people in Midwest. For me, that's more than I've ever owned in my life. So it's kind of a dream come true to just have enough land to spread out on, and kind of a blank canvas, something to do.
I have like 10 square feet of grass, and it was ruined by my chickens. So I had to quarantine the chickens. Now have dirt. Yeah, well,
You need to get chicken tractor like what Tom Massey has.
I have 10 square feet of grass. There's not enough room for it. I'm serious. I'm in one of the most highest densely populated areas in all of Florida. So I have a very small district, but literally the one thing I love my chickens. If I had land, I'd be a chicken woman. Crazy chicken lady. I absolutely would. I'd have like a flock.
You might consider quail, because you don't have to have a lot of land for quail.
But do they dig up? My chickens ruined my lawn. Like it's like the moon. It's like just pits
No.
of dirt now.
We can talk about this after.
There's a
Yeah,
market for quail too.
You can do that. It's like I don't know. There's people that will pay a lot for quail eggs.
I mean, they sell them at Publix, but I just don't know that they're little.
I hear that the eggs are healthier too.
But they're like.
They're little, but anyway.
Sorry,
It's an
off
idea.
topic. Chickens are good for you. They help fight inflation.
Okay, so now that we're back to
Hang on, I
business,
can't
right?
resist. When we were on the border, you and I were on the border a few weeks ago. They're smuggling eggs across the border.
Yes, I
They're
saw it in a news
smuggling
article.
eggs because they can get them in here for $1 a dozen versus what we're paying for them. So that's one of the things
My
that
question is, do
egg
they
market.
have the feathers and the poop on them still?
I get my eggs from the Amish, and they come that way.
I bet they're more organic though than what they're getting here in the
When
grocery
I
store.
was in Iraq, that was the first time I've ever seen eggs like that actually still had feathers
Yeah.
on them and whatnot.
Well, usually they don't have poop.
You
But
need
they
to
have
have seen it, man. I live in an
That was
Amish
pretty-
community.
So did you
You can get them like
know?
that way from the
Things you
Amish.
learn,
I
yeah.
have a cool chicken. If you so eggs, if you just leave the membrane on them, you can keep them
Yeah. You're not supposed
unrefrigerated.
to wash it.
Yeah, I don't wash them.
Say that again.
So eggs are eggs are, what do you call it? Laid.
Born, birthed.
They're laid.
They're
They're
deposited.
laid.
Laid. Wait a minute.
They're
Actually, they wouldn't be birthed, would they?
Yeah, I know.
Off. Not birthed, not born.
Edit that
You're
out.
right.
Outtakes. Eggs are laid with a membrane on them.
Yeah.
That means that you can actually keep them unrefrigerated for several weeks. And if you put butter on them, apparently they keep for like 6 months.
What?
Unrefrigerated, yeah.
Like smear butter over the egg?
Yes, it's an old Irish. I'm not kidding. It seals the membrane. I'm not kidding. I don't even refrigerate my eggs.
Nothing's better than.
Does this little does this little packed community that you live in care that you're trying to become a farmer?
So my neighbor, I'm an urban farmer.
Okay.
My neighbor across the street had turkeys, but they kept getting out, so he has them. But we all know, like, there's chicken people in our neighborhood. St. Pete actually has a big granola movement, and so I'm a proud granola movement person. So I have that, and I have a beehive, but I don't have a beehive or a beekeeper's license because you have to in the state of Florida if you want to
What?
harvest
You
the
have to have a
honey.
license?
Yeah, so I just leave them in the tree, but they're my hive.
Does
So
it
your
require
issue-
testing and certification?
I just feel like because I'm a rep, someone would rat me out, so, so I just leave it be.
So your issue is you don't have enough surface area for them to go naturally graze?
Yeah, so
Or-
chickens love being free range. They're really mad at me right now, but they destroy everything.
Why don't you just, like, if you're an urban farmer, why don't you stack them on top of each other like a skyscraper, a chicken skyscraper?
No, I totally can't though right now because like there's all the ordinances for the city. So I just have my chicken coop and they're quarantined in a fence area, and then I'm actually sodding. Andy's sodding the lawn.
Yeah, you have to clean it if you can't move them. So, all right. Now we're back to business. We're here, and it feels like it's going to get real very fast. That's what it feels like, right? Because we have the debt ceiling, and then we've got the investigations on the Biden family.
And we have
and
BRICS
oversights.
and China and North Korea sending rockets. It's a little stressful.
So with this debt ceiling, this is like new territory for us. Like for me, it's brand new territory. I don't, whenever I ran for Congress, I was like a Tom Coburn, like you were. We got to stop raising the debt ceiling, and we got to, make Congress balance its budget. I've fought for a balanced budget amendment when I was in the Missouri legislature, and in some regards, I kind of feel like there is, in a way, a mechanism that forces a balanced budget, and it's the debt ceiling. So, but it's interesting, all these negotiation talks and the planning, because this seems like it's like 3D chess here. How
I think we did a really good job with the outline from the Freedom Caucus on kind of our positions, and I think that in general, I don't ever go home and hear from people like, heck yeah, raise the debt. Like, no one says that at all. And they think we're ineffective because largely up until recently we have been ineffective, and this is just, if you continue increasing it, I mean, at what point did it stop? Now they're talking about wanting to increase other things as well, and that's not.
Smartest economist I've read said we all know this can't continue forever, and anything that can't continue forever must come to an end. That kind of, takes it down to the vernacular everybody can understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting. Those of you guys watching, it's 9:22 here in Washington, D.C. It's a fly-in day. We did some votes. Came over here to CPI, and then the Freedom Caucus always meets, and we talk about what's going on. And
PM.
yeah,
Nighttime.
nighttime. And it's just interesting because the way I see it is we've got a country to save, pure and simple. We're not going to do that doing the same thing over and over again. And that's why I came here, And it's interesting because you see people that try and game this thing out and figure out every contingency plan, or what's the Senate going to do? What's President Biden going to do? I've always been the type of guy, and maybe it's too simplistic, but control what you can control. I think we can actually take a very hard line and, try and get a lot out of this debt ceiling fight like we did out of the speaker fight. And that's what I hope this little group here, not just this group, but, some of the Freedom Caucus and some of the more conservative members of Congress do, because like I was just saying in the last meeting we were in, we got a country to save. And, it's like, it's crazy to me how, sometimes we just get sucked into the minutia and all the maneuvering, and we forget what's really going on and how much debt we're actually in, $31.5 trillion. And, the thing I said to the group in the meeting we just left is, it's like these people out here that watch this show, they know we're not always going to win. They know that. They know we're the conservatives here in this town, we're a very small body. But they do expect us to fight. and we've got to continue to fight. And you know what? If we go down fighting, we can I'm gonna let the other people answer for their weak, squishy vote on the border or the debt ceiling or whatever it is. I'm in charge of representing the people back home, trying to turn this country around and doing what I said I was going to come here to do. And so that's the way I see this thing.
Do you want your conscience on some vote?
Yeah.
Unless you're getting, that's where I come down to, is that I don't want to look back and regret things that we did here.
Yep.
And so to me, some of those things that that are in the discussion, like I'll throw them out here: work requirements for welfare recipients, clawing back some of the unspent dollars on the climate bill, eliminating the $271 billion. Some people say it's up to $1.6 trillion in energy tax credits. The putting in the language for HR 1, which had to do with streamlining the permitting process. An immigration reform bill, not reform, but like, tightening the border.
Cutting the funding for the IRS agents.
Cutting the new IRS agent funding.
Which, by the way, the entire GOP was like, yay, we defunded, but okay, so are we going to like actually, if we're not, then you guys are all.
That's the thing with this town. Like, there's a lot of messaging that, oh yeah, we're all about doing that until it's time to do it.
Until it's real.
Until it's real, and then you get a lot of, I don't know about that, and
we're cutting the IRS agents.
Yeah, and then the student loan forgiveness. So we had Biden forgive all these student loans, and if we can be able to put in this language to repeal all of that, that would save $500 billion, right? So there comes a point where it's like, when we're weighing these decisions, I don't know where you're at, but I'm thinking where I'm at is like, I want to see cut for cut, or I want to see cut for whatever expenditure, we're going to raise. I want to see real cuts up front. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good assessment. Common sense. Yeah. Maybe too much for Washington. Not for us, but for the rest.
And I bet the Senate, whatever we send the Senate, they're going to lose their mind. If they think that us making cuts or even keeping government at static spending levels is they think that that's crazy. Yeah.
And just so you guys know, that those of you that are watching, and this bothers me as somebody who's worn the uniform and fought for this country. There are people in this town that will not go to war. They will not get in a fight for you if they don't know what the outcome is going to be. And to me, that's just like, I don't know, it's just so wild, it's so alien, it's so bizarre. Like when you think you're doing the right thing, you can't be hung up on what the outcome might be. You have to know what the right thing is doing, chart a course, and go and do the best job you can. And in our case as freshmen, a lot of the time, because I think, honestly, if we're being transparent, we lack some of the experience that some of our senior members, in this group have. And, so even if sometimes that's more of a supportive role, whether you're co-sponsoring a bill or whatever, but just do the right thing and go, man. Right. Quit trying to game everything out and, be unwilling to fight just because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. To me, that's sad, and we're not going to save the country that way. So,
well said.
Did I make my point on it? Am I being too redundant on my point?
No. I think so. It's crazy I'm still stuck on the IRS agents. Like, people don't want to actually put that in the bill. Why? You messaged on it.
Walk the people listening to.
So we obviously voted to repeal the 87,000 IRS agents, and now with the budget proposed and budget cut fight, they don't actually have that in there to defund those jobs, which is just crazy to me.
And we've already made that vote.
And they are
the
weaponized.
The public is 100% with us.
Yes, and they are too, by the way, these are not to audit like very wealthy billionaires. These are to audit gig workers, like people with 2 jobs because they can't afford eggs right now, which is why you need chickens.
Right.
I'm going back to the chicken argument, but my point exactly is that it makes no sense. Double speak is what it is.
Or even the student loan forgiveness. That's a 90-20, that's a 90-10 issue. Like, most people do not.
I was going to say 90-20.
You're starting to do math. 80-20.
You're starting to do math like me, dude.
I was about to do math like this place. But I think the vast majority of people, even people that have student loans, that would love to have forgiven don't think that it's the right thing to do.
It's not the right thing to do. That's not what this country's about. It's never been about that. It's about work your tail off. If you make a deal, honor that deal. And a lot of these folks, it's like we've created a victim culture, and it's just, it's sad to me.
This is Biden using American tax dollars to try to get reelected because everything he does is just terrible. He has the opposite of Midas touch. It's like death touch.
So, and speaking of Biden, this is when things are going to get real too, is on Oversight. We're on Oversight. Mm-hmm. The Biden family and their business dealings is something that we're going to be focusing a lot on.
Oh, yeah.
I see.
And it's not weaponized. It's actually, I was looking up, let me see if I have it in my pocket, Constitution. The definition of treason, okay? And it literally says, treason against the United States shall consist only of levying war against them or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort, okay? And you have to have 2 witnesses in the same overt act to testify in open court to charge someone with that. I'm sorry, but if you're getting money from China and helping China, I don't know what else that is considered. And that's definition in the Constitution, so.
Yeah, when I talk to people back home, they can't believe it. But the thing is, the press is not covering any of this.
Of course not, because they're corrupt, which is why we're here and not over there.
But we're going to get down to the bottom of it. And then I always wonder, and this is what I hear back home too, is like, okay, so we're going to investigate this and then we're going to expose it. Then what? Right?
I think
at that point, we have to then hope we're going to turn over to special counsel.
I think Oversight's purpose is to get the facts out to the American people. Then you write legislation. Did you know, I was looking this up over break, did you know that Congress used to have the power to jail people?
Yes, I did know that, yeah.
So,
and there's even a jail in the Capitol building.
And somewhere in the 1900s, we just trusted the process to someone else, but I think we should bring that back.
Yeah.
Just saying, it'd be good to have. Just to have.
I'm winding up in there at some point. It might be my own party. Right. Definitely will be the Democrat party.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you lie under oath, or if you refuse to testify, this is how they used to deal with people. And it's not weaponization. It's just FOFO. Yeah, FOFO?
FOFO.
I won't. UrbanDictionary.com it. Something around find out,
Okay, yes. I got it now.
Oh my God.
Okay. So
no, it's funny because my youngest daughter loves that movie Clueless. And she has
like
those
acronyms
the whole time. I'm thinking, here we go. This is what happens when we bring Autumn
my daughters are both teenagers now. Yeah. They love to play this game with me where they go, Dad, what is, and then they'll say some acronym. Yeah. And they're just quizzing to see how hip I am or how much I know.
You have to go to UrbanDictionary.com and read it, right? The
I don't
slang.
think they're quizzing you to see how hip you are, but how ignorant you are, bro.
Right.
And you're not in that boat alone because I know my kids.
Well, I was on the floor and I said, I walked up to someone and said, so what's the T? And he was like, what do you mean? And I'm like, the T. And Ogles was like, no, it means like, what's the chatter, the gossip. So Ogles had to translate.
We don't have that expression in the South. Yeah. Or in the Midwest, we don't have that expression.
All right, I think we're getting we're having too much fun. We're having too much fun, dude.
Okay, so let me...
So you finally come in, dude. And we have a podcast where we have to get yanked out of here.
Right. So, okay, we have rapid fire questions. First question is, you're on a road trip, you stop at a convenience station, what do you get? What's your snack of choice?
Oh, I want this one first. Buc-ee's / brisket.
Oh.
At Buc-ee's?
Buc-ee's / brisket. Yeah. Nobody knows what I'm talking about.
I know,
I know
we
what
have
Buc-ee's
in Florida. Yeah. I've never had the brisket, though.
Oh,
but
my goodness.
Popcorn.
Yeah, so you've got some right there, but I don't like the white cheddar. The white cheddar's
this
good,
is like
but
an ad.
But I think
Not sponsored by Congress.
The kettle corn. The kettle corn's
the white
best.
cheddar's my favorite.
Yeah,
We're
kettle
gluten-free.
Huh.
It's gluten-free.
I need to do the gluten-free,
and
but
it's crispy and tasty.
I like pizza.
They're addictive, yeah.
Sliced brisket is gluten-free if anybody wants to know.
It's organic.
That sounds, yeah. For me, it's Casey's Pizza, not gluten-free. A big slice of Casey's Pizza.
Is that something that is strictly located in your district, or is that like national?
Casey's is huge. It's
But they have an airport.
Yeah, you're talking about the CASEY.
yeah, the
Yeah.
gas stations.
I've never had that.
Yeah.
They're actually like
they're sizable.
they-
They're not like Buc-ee's, but
they're like the number 4 chain in America that sells pizza.
I
And
would
they
figure
happen
like
to be a
Love's
gas
would be or
station. So
something.
they're right up there with Papa John's, Domino's,
Oh wow!
Casey's Pizza. You'll have to try it.
Don't even get her started on pizza, man.
I'm going to unionize in the Freedom
She's
Caucus
so
against
fired
pizza.
up about pizza.
I'm done. I'm sick of pizza.
Every time we come from votes, we come here and we have a meeting, and the meeting always has dinner, and a lot of times the food that's provided
Is
by a
carbs.
member is pizza, and she's been upset about it. So
I'm in the group chat. No more pizza.
no more pizza. That's right.
All right, and with that, we're going to close out. Thank you for watching this episode. Please subscribe to the Fresh Freedom Podcast. Please share it with everyone that you know. Also, in the description below are all the handles on our social media where you can follow each and every one of us. So please give everybody here a follow so you can keep up with what's going on in Congress. And until then, we'll see you next time on the Fresh Freedom Podcast.
We have like an egg segment. Fighting eggflation.